Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, double honors to the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, peace and salutation to the elect and all the brothers pushing this work in sincerity and in truth. This is the brother Thamine from GMS Toronto coming at you with another video. So on the Sabbath today, I'm just going over a little bit of not a discrepancy or debate, but I've been going back and forth with this Israelite from the tribe of Asher, right? He could be a Judite too. Since I came into this truth, right? And he always wants to debate, and because he's a so-called Christian, right? And they're always, these Christians always trying to save people who are not part of the body, right? Always trying to save the heathens, and they don't have any understanding of the Bible at all, right? They don't have any reading comprehension skills. The Lord took that away from them, right? So they can't really understand what this Bible is about. They really don't know what this Bible is about, and they like to talk about the New Testament, and they don't know what the New Testament is about, right? They think that they can just go into the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the Gospels, and the book of Paul's writing, right, and understand the scriptures without understanding the beginning and the root of this bloodline that's mentioned in the scriptures, right? This is all about a specific bloodline that the Lord has chosen, and that bloodline got corrupted by being around other nations, right? And the fact that the apostles were sent away to bring those people back, that wild olive tree, right, that was branched off from the main source. They don't understand that, right? And even when you provide them with evidence, they still can't get it because their mind is seared with a hot iron. So he always talk about the Gentiles, right? And I sent John 11 and 50 all the way down to 52, so he can really know who the Gentiles is talking about. But he'll read that and still get something different from it. He's like, "Oh, it's not in my spirit. My spirit doesn't tell me that." Well, your spirit is wrong, because the scripture says the heart is deceitful among all things. You're still dealing with emotions, right? Just because you want something to be, that doesn't mean that's the way it is. So this is John 11 and 50, right? Nor consider that it is expedient for us, which are the Israelites, right? John is talking here. John's an Israelite, so he's talking about his family, his brethren, his kinsmen, that one man should die for the people. And when you go into the NIV and the New King James translated version, it goes into it says the Jewish nation, which we know there's no such thing as a Jewish nation when it comes to the Bible, right? But talking about the Israelites or the nation of Israel, it should says here the nation of Israel or the Israelites, but they're gonna put that piece in there just to have you corrupt in your mind. And a person like a Christian, when they read that without knowing the whole lineage and the people that's the face of the people and the body of the people that's going with this word, when you see an Israelite, you're going to automatically think that it's a so-called Jewish person, right? When it's the opposite of that, So it says here, so the people, one man should die for the people. And it says here, right, plain and simple and plain, brother, one man should die for the people, right? And that whole nation perish not. So it's literally showing possession. That one nation shall perish not. You see that? It's not talking about everyone else. And they'll read that and still get something different from that, bro. That's how I know the Lord is real. Even when the evidence is presented to these guys, they still can't get it. And this spake he not of himself, but being a high priest that year, he prophesied that Yahweh Shai and Mashiach should die for that nation. Look, it's right here that if you want to read it, Jesus should die for that nation, which is the Israelite nation, bro. Right? So this is where the understanding of reading and comprehension doesn't apply to a Christian, because they're stupid. Right? The Lord called them Sardis children. And not for that nation only. This is where he gets twisted. And not for that nation only, right? So this is where he think that this is talking about Gentiles of the other nation. But also, he should gather together in one the other children of God that were scattered abroad. Even in this, it tells you it was talking about the nation of Israel that's scattered abroad. But they don't get that. As we see here, it says here, in one of the other children of God, which talking about the other nations. I'm like, yo, so there's no point of talking to a Christian. They can't get it, right? And then when I present him with this, right? James 1:1, a servant of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, right? To the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, he still tried to debate that. When you drop in more scriptures of Acts, the 2nd chapter, when it tells you about the Israelites that was coming from different nations scattered amongst other nation, right? He still doesn't get it. And they were dwelling at Jerusalem, Jews, devout men, out of every nation under the sun. What else do you need, bro? What else do you need? That's how I know the Lord has blinded these people, right? And when this was noise abroad, the multitude came together. The argument should have been done because the evidence is presented. And out of every nation under heaven, there were Jews, Israelite men, and women and children, right? And when this was noise abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language. And they all amazed and marveled. They were all amazed and marveled, saying to one another, behold, are not all these men which speak Galileans? Right? That was a hood in Israel at that time, where the Lord, he resided there, right? It's a ghetto, so to speak, slangs, and how near we every man in his own tongue wherein we were born. Done, right? And it gives you the examples of where these men were born: Parthians, Medes, Elamites, and the dwellers in Mesopotamia, and in Judea, and in Cappadocia, and in Pontus, and in Asia, and in Phrygia, and in Egypt, and in Pamphylia, and Libya. This is all up in Africa. Egypt and Africa, Cyrene, right? Strangers of Rome, and Jews and proselytes. So it says strangers of Rome. And when he present to this guy that there were Israelites in Rome, he's like, this nigga's trying to ask me what percentage was it of Israelite that was in. I mean, nigga, I don't know. There was a lot. Right? So that even in their stupid ass argument, they try to trip you up. They try to trip you up because they can't really come up against you because they're children. Like, I was talking to one of the elders of the camp yesterday, and he's like, listen, there's no point of going back and forth, which I wasn't going back and forth with this guy, per se, because he's already confounded years and years ago. But every time he tries to come back, but he gets weaker and weaker with his argument because he's emotional about it, right? Because he's trying to save people that are not a part of this body. People that's gonna be your slaves. You're trying to bring them to be equal with you, right? What else did I send? So yeah, we start talking about the history of why the Israelites were in Rome and in Greece, why they were called these names. And he's like, oh, every time you want to talk about history, I'm just here to debate the Bible. I'm like, Nick, you have to know the history in order to debate the Bible. You cannot debate the Bible without knowing secular history. You just trying to debate the Bible, you're not going to win because there's no evidence of what you're talking about, right? The Bible also go along with other evidence outside of the Bible. So if you're trying to debate, you need to come with evidence, okay? So that's why the Lord said the rest was blinded, man. And I can go into other scriptures that says otherwise. Because check this out. Even in Romans 11:11 it talks about the Gentiles, but in Romans 11:7 is talking about Israel and the elect. So this applies to only Israel, right? When you see Gentiles that's coming in, that's being drafted in, those are Israelites. And we have millions and millions of videos going into this, right? But Our people are always going to be blinded because the Lord is not dealing with them. Okay, keep going to your church on Sundays. Keep doing what you're doing, man. We, the men of the Lord, have the truth and the 100% truth, and we're going to keep spreading this word. So this is Romans 11:7. And what then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. So when you see an Israelite who cannot get it, the Lord doesn't want him to get it, right? The Lord blinded him, and the Lord's going to kill him or her, but mainly him, right? As a man, if you don't want to see your people be uplifted and over the other nations, you shouldn't be on the planet Earth, right? And majority of our people, they don't want to see the nation of Israel, which the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, be on top of the totem pole ever. They're comfortable with them being at the bottom, drinking rum, smoking weed, getting high, being in the jails, right? As long as you get to go to your job and make money and come home. But guess what? The money is going to crash soon. So what are you going to do? Shalom.